Hello, my good friends, and welcome to episode number 15, telling the story on how I arrived into the real estate business. Remember to subscribe so these episodes will come directly to you, and leave your comments and ask your questions. Now let's get started with episode number 15. At the end of episode number 14, I had mentioned that I had located a building in the 700 block on McDonald Avenue. I'd also mentioned that this building was very spacious. It would actually accommodate at least 10 operators, 10 barbers. And my good friend, Lester Nickerberry, he was, and he still is, a licensed general contractor. He was also a barber. And Lester, he designed and he built a first-class barbershop. So at the end of my lease at Joe's Barbershop, we moved into our new location in the 700 block of McDonald Avenue. And I'll tell you, it was just such a joy, this big, magnificent shop. And what I did, I changed the name from Joe's Barbershop to Umoja Natural House. Umoja being a Swahili word meaning unity. That's what we call this new shop. It was called the Umoja Natural House. Being natural, it was a time when the natural, some would call it the Afro, was very permanent, where African American, especially the men, were changing from the process, from the comp, from the straightening of their hair to using their hair and sporting a natural hairdo, the Afro. It was a time when the men, the women, and the children, they would be coming to the Umoja Natural House. You see, we're creatures of habit here. And so I go on to say that I had two good friends that I had mentioned also in episode number 14 who were very interested in coming into the barber business. Charles Stewart, we called him the meat man, a Yama, Swahili word meaning meat. And we called him that because he was big in stature. And he entered into the Oakland Moeller Barber College. And then we had Clinton Crowder. He too entered into the Oakland Moeller Barber College. And they were able to receive the exact same opportunity as others before. And that is that they were able to, each and every day after barber college, they were able to come to Umoja Natural House to improve on developing their skills in barbering. And I'm going to tell you, this was a great deal because I had grown up with these two young men most of all of my life since the elementary, junior high school days. Charles Stewart and his family, at that time, they lived in the Iron Triangle. And Clinton Crowder and his family, they lived in South Richmond. So, I mean, it's moving forward. As a matter of fact, after this is 7 of the 10 chairs are now operating full time. Now, what a joy. It's moving forward expeditiously, if you will. It's just moving. And then after a few months, the most talented barber in the city of Richmond, she transferred to the Umoja Natural House. Norma Wilbur, she was sensational. She was great. She had gracious. She had the personality, but most importantly, she was a great barber. And she actually added class that we all were able to benefit from. And later on, she married our homeboy, James Washington. Many of you will remember James Washington, because some of you who we have class reunions together, James and Norma will be with us at the same time. James, his family, they grew up in the Iron Triangle. His brother Bookie, we call him, is named Clarence, sister Mel, and Dinky. That was the family. And you know what? Most of you will remember their mother. We called her Mother Washington. She was very instrumental. She was a community activist, and she was responsible for a lot of change in the Iron Triangle neighborhood. You may also remember that Norma's brother, Tyler, he was a great basketball player, and later on, he went on to play semi-pro basketball. So then after that, we had a gentleman, a Roland Williams. He also, later on, he transferred. Roland was a clean dresser. He was professional, and he was very smart. And he added a different touch of class, professionalism to the Umoja Natural House. And then we had D. Lewis West. D, we considered him to be a quiet spirit, but nevertheless a great spirit. And when he would speak, we would all show our attention. So now you see, the shop is thriving. As a matter of fact, it's thriving so well, it was just like having a great party every day. Why? Because we had a jukebox. And what we would do, we would actually flip coins to see who would pay for the music. And that would extend sometime to after the shop was closed. I mean, it was a lot of space. As a matter of fact, Umoja Natural House had a loft in the back of the shop, and another friend, homeboy, I would call him, O.T. Anderson, he actually would maintain the shop, and on occasion he would sleep in the loft in the back. That would give security for the office, for the shop, and in addition to that, it would help keep it up. I mean, it was first class, clean all the time. So this was a great thing. I mean, we're thriving, and now all 10 chairs, all are operating, except for one. And that was, if you recall, I had mentioned that Lester Nickelberry was a licensed general contractor. So he wouldn't be there all the time. So what I did, I hired Jimmy Williams. Jimmy Williams, he was actually a firefighter for the city of Richmond. And he would come in when Lester Nickelberry wouldn't be there, and he would cut. So now we have 11 barbers operating 10 chairs. Umoja Natural House is the largest shop in the entire city, and perhaps it may have even been in the entire Bay Area. It's moving fast. And then look, let me tell you what happened. Change of course. You remember I was singing a song before, everything must change. And let me tell you what changed. A few months after that, I received a letter from our congressman, Jerome Waldy. And this letter was in regards of applying for SBA loans for small businesses. Now, if you remember, I don't remember the exact episode, but I had mentioned that my partner and good friend, another homeboy who I had grown up with, we would travel to Los Angeles. He was working at Smith's Clothiers, and at this time, he's the assistant manager on Shattuck Avenue at Smith's. And I also had mentioned in a previous episode that we would travel to Southern California all the time, and we had the hopes on one day opening up a clothing store. Now, this is what I want you to do, because this is getting ready for another major change on my arrival into the real estate business. And you need to be here for episode number 16. This was a shorter one, I would say, but nevertheless, very effective on this arrival. So I want to thank you again, and God bless you, and I will see you on episode number 16. God bless.